Okay, let's do the estimating one. It's similar to on the practice exam, number 5 here, okay? So slow down the video, pause it, I'm gonna go fast. So we didn't cover this at all. This is again probably like a review from last year, I don't know. So what we're gonna do is we can't really do this, I mean we can do this by hand, it's gonna take a long time. So let's just estimate it. Let's say, let's look at the base number and round it to a number that we can do in our heads. So, and we have to round it to a number near this one. So, because we're estimating, right? We're not getting the right answer. So what's near 349? Well, 300 and 400, right? Those are the boundaries, right? Because if we round up, it's 400. If we round down, it's 300. So what's 300 squared? Well, we know 3 squared is 9. So we just do 9 with 4 zeros, right? Because 100 times 100 would be 10,000, okay? So you just, there's 2 zeros here, squared would be 4 zeros. And now what about 400? If we square that, it's going to be, we can do that in our heads, 4 zeros. So it's between 90,000 and 160,000, all right? So I'm going to say, because it's in the middle, 350, it's right between those. So what's between like 90, what's between 9 and 16? 9 and 16, I'm going to say about like 12, 13. So I think a good guess would be 130,000. I don't know. Of course, it's not going to be correct. So I'm estimating that because that's between the upper and lower boundaries. Let's plug it into my calculator. Let's see how close we got. The answer is 121,801. Okay, so that's pretty close. So we could call that a win. So now let's do this one. 129 squared. Well, what's the lower boundary? If we round it to the nearest 100, it's going to be 100. All right. And the upper boundary is going to be 200, all right? Because 129 is between 100 and 200, and we could do 100 squared and 200 squared in our head, right? Because we're estimating. So what's 100 squared? Well, we could do that in our head. We know it's 1 with 4 zeros at the end. It's 10,000. And what's 200 squared? Well, that's 4 with 4 zeros at the end, okay? So that's our upper boundary and that's our lower boundary, 10,000, between 10,000 and 40,000, okay? Now what's it closer to? Well, 129 is closer to 100, so it's going to be closer to the 10,000. So we're not going to say, I'm not going to guess that it's going to be 1,200, which would be between those two because that's right in the middle. I'm going to guess closer to 10,000. So let's say about 11,000 maybe. Maybe a little bit less, that's my guess. I'm guessing it's 11,000 based on just estimation with no calculator or nothing, okay? So let's plug it into the calculator to check our answers, which we cannot do on the exam, remember? Oh, the answer is, oh, I'm sorry. No. Sorry. Between 10 and 40. So, or 1 and 4, right? So what's between 10,000 and 4,000? That would be 20,000, right? I don't know why I said 12. So in the middle of these would be 20,000, between 10,000 and 40,000, but it's on the lower end, isn't it? Right? Because 129 is closer to 100 than it is 200. So it's going to be on the lower spectrum. So if we kind of wrote it like this, like here's the line, right? And like where is it going to be on this line? It's going to be closer to the lower end of the spectrum because 129 is closer to 100. So I'm going to guess it's around 1,500, okay? Let's guess 1,500 because it's closer to the 10. And the real answer is, so my estimate, my guess is 15,000, but the real answer is 16,641. So I got pretty close. So that's what we're doing. We're just estimating, right? And on the exam, they're going to give you pretty far apart numbers. So on the exam, if this was a question, estimate using 129, they're going to give you options that are like pretty far off. So you're going to have to just give a rough estimate, okay? So don't worry about this too much. So what about this? 900. Well, let's look at the base and do the upper and lower boundaries. So the upper one, or the lower boundary, would be the lower boundary of 983 would be 900, and the other upper boundary would be 1,000, right? So here's the lower boundary, 900 squared, and the upper boundary is 1,000 squared, okay? So we could do these in our heads. That's why we're rounding them, so that we can do it in our heads. Well, this is 81 with 4 zeros. And this one is going to be just 1 with 6 zeros. Oof. Okay? Because, hold on. Two times three zeros is. So the upper boundary is 810,000. The lower boundary is 1,000,000. Now, 983 is closer to 900. I mean, closer to 1,000,000. So we know the estimate is gonna be on the upper boundary. So it's gonna be near 1,000,000. So I'm gonna guess something closer to 1,000,000 than 810,000. So I'm gonna guess, based on this, I'm gonna guess around 900,000. No, I'm gonna guess more than that. I'm gonna guess like maybe something like that, right? And because this is closer to 1,000,000 than it is to 810,000. So let's see. Let's see what the real answer is. 983 times 983 equals 900. So the real answer is 966,289. So I was pretty close. And I'm going to let you guys do the rest of them yourself.